We can start.
Hare Krishna. Haridev Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So, all devotees, Dandavat Pranam, welcome for Nityam Bhava Seva. Today we are very, very fortunate. Very special day, Ganesh Chaturthi day, and we are going to hear about Srila Prabhupada. Especially the topic is how to serve Srila Prabhupada, this magnificent personality, who is Jagat Guru, who has served the whole world. Today we'll hear from Haridev Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna, over to you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So we welcome all the devotees for this wonderful topic on reading from Srila Prabhupada's Lilamruta. We'll start with prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरवत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I seek the blessings of all the assembled devotees before begin to uh, discuss on this. Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrit, chapter 4, and the chapter is entitled, How Shall I Serve You? So, in the previous chapter, we saw how Srila Prabhupada had shifted to Allahabad and he was running his pharmaceutical business there, set up by Mr. Bose. And then we saw uh, uh, how the Lord always made arrangement for Srila Prabhupada to be in constant association with the Gaudiya Math devotees, and even as a Grahastha, amidst all his family responsibilities and setting up business, etc. Because of Srila Prabhupada's sincere desire in some way or other to assist Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Krishna always made circumstances in such a way that uh, Prabhupada was given opportunities to render service. So brahmacharis from Gaudiya Math had come to Allahabad seeking for help. Prabhupada helped them establish the center, helped in fund collection, so many things there. And he even would invite sadhus to his house. At that time, when he shifted to Allahabad, his wife, his aging father, Gaur Mohan De, who gave him the seed of bhakti. Prabhupada writes also how his initial seed of bhakti was given by his father, and it was later on more became mature under the guidance of His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. So when his father was there, aging father, Prabhupada would invite sadhus regularly. And then we saw how spirituality or Krishna consciousness is always a heart to heart connection. Mm. Uh, mm, how one may wonder how Srila Prabhupada would always ask the right questions at the right time, trying to fulfill the desires of his superiors. Why? Because Prabhupada had deep respect for his father and for Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So, in the previous chapter, we saw how when his father was feeling very sick, Prabhupada, uh, as a dutiful son, understood my father may no longer be there with me, and he found out all the desires that his father had. And he found out, please tell me what are your desires. And the a cow was donated in charity to the Gaudiya Mutt. Then uh, on the request of his father, uh, Harikatha, Bhajan, etc. was organized at house, and all the Vaishnavas were fed. And that very same night, Gaur Mohan Dey passed from this planet. So that is, we can see that Prabhupada, because as we said, spirituality means heart to heart connection, not just intellectual understanding, but one gives his heart. So Prabhupada could understand uh, that uh, at the crucial moment, he was able to please his father, whom he respected so much and saw as an inspiration. And in this chapter, we will see many things. We will see how Srila Prabhupada meets Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur for the second time. He had met only once before in Calcutta at Ulta Danga Junction, and that was so deeply etched within his heart. In this chapter, we will see how Prabhupada meets Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur for the second time when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur organizes a Vrindavan Parikrama. And very soon after that meeting in Vrindavan Parikrama, Prabhupada meets Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur again at Allahabad for the initiation ceremony. And there, Prabhupada is given both the first initiation and the second initiation. And we will also see how after that uh, Prabhupada eventually moved to Bombay for his business purpose. And in Bombay also, he helped in establishing the Bombay Gaudiya Mutt Center. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was so pleased, and many suggested that Prabhupada be made the temple president. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, don't bring him into this administration. He will do everything at the right time. Just leave him for now, like that. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had such faith in Prabhupada and confidence in Prabhupada. We will see all that here. So this is the last letter that Prabhupada is writing to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur just before Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur left this world. And this is the reply given by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And what was the title of Prabhupada's letter? How shall I serve you? That was the question Prabhupada had asked. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur replied, I have every hope that you can turn yourself into a very good English preacher if you serve the mission to inculcate the novel impression of Lord Chaitanya's teaching to the people in general, as well as philosophers and religionists. So, how again, when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was ill, Prabhupada had a feeling that my spiritual master may not be there any longer, very long with me. He writes a letter asking, I am ordinary Grahastha. I could not dedicate my full life for you, for your service, for service of the divine lordships. Please tell me, how can I serve you? Like that. So here again, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, like the first meeting, reconfirms that preach in English. And how much Prabhupada took this to his heart. Why? Because if you see every word in this response, Prabhupada had fulfilled it. Inculcate the novel impression of Lord Chaitanya's teaching to the people in general. So, to general people as well as philosophers and religionists. So, we see Prabhupada talking to Professor Kotorsky and so many other learned professors, because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted even the philosophers to understand that this is a very authentic movement. The religionists to understand that this is not mere sentimental religion, but it's a very, very authorized religion like that. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's instruction, as it is Srila Prabhupada, fulfilled. So in 1932, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur led his disciples to the Vrindavan Parikrama. And how was the Vrindavan Parikrama? We will see how ISKCON and Prabhupada's current Parikrama, whatever in ISKCON we do, most of the thing is as it is what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had done. There was an advance party who would go to the next destination previous night, set up the tent, kitchen, etc., and devotees would come there, and mornings they would all go for different holy places, and evening they would assemble and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur would lecture. So this is the general routine, right? And Abhay had got information about this parikrama through the Harmonist magazine, which Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur would publish. And he wanted to go, but because of his work, he could not make it for the yatra. But on the 20th day of pilgrimage, he decided to travel from Allahabad, eager to see Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur again, and at least join the parikrama party at Koshi for at least one day. So this was Prabhupada. Uh, his heart was with the devotees, although his responsibilities were keeping him busy. He wanted to make time at least for a day. And this parikrama was the biggest ever in Vrindavan. And uh, however, in Vrindavan, many of them they did not like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur very much because Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur vehemently opposed the Goswami people who, I mean, they some of the Goswamis in the Vrindavan would say that only in the same Brahmana family, one can become a Brahman Vaishnava like that. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say, no. As per Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and even from Bhagavatam, anybody who constantly chants God's name, even if he's a dog eater, he can deliver not just himself but all others like that. So they didn't like his idea of making others into Brahmana. But they also knew that we cannot argue with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur because philosophically he was so strong. So they would smilingly accept him externally, but within their hearts they envied Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. They even made plans to kill him sometimes. And in the Vrindavan Yatra, they decided to show their disrespect to the Parikrama party, especially the seven major Goswami temples. The priests they started closing the doors, saying no darshan for Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Gaudiya Math devotees, and even the shoe keepers and the shops they would all close their doors. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did not mind about that. So how Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur uh, was a revolutionary. He used opulence not for sense gratification but to broadcast glories of Krishna. He built a big palatial temple at Bagh Bazaar, and all of this was contributed by a wealthy Vaishnava merchant. I think his name was Jagat Bandhu. He was a disciple of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. His entire life savings, he gave it, and he made the temple to be constructed. Then he begged, Guru Maharaj, I don't have any other property now. If you permit me, please give me one small room in the corner somewhere to stay. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was so impressed by the dedication of this Grahastha devotee. Uh, and that's how the Bagh Bazaar temple was constructed. Hmm. And just like Rupa Goswami says, what is Yukta Vairagya? One can use everything in service of God. That is Yukta Vairagya, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was perfectly demonstrating this here. So, uh, here, by 1932, he also had three presses in different parts of the world. So, that way. So, this was what the Harmonist magazine had given about the Vrindavan Parikrama. So it is said, has been pleased to invite cooperation of all persons of every nationality, caste, creed, color, age, sex, in the devotional function of circumambulation of the holy sphere of Vraja, like that. So Srila Prabhupada was not initiated, but he had very good admiration for Gaudiya Math. So he thought, what are these people going to do in Parikrama? Let me go, I'll meet them. And then he met them at Koshi. So as I said, there was an advance group bringing all bedding. They would go to the next day location, make up the camp. And the main party containing deity of Mahaprabhu and Kirtan singers would visit places of Lord Krishna's pastimes. And in the evening, they would arrive at the camp. And in the camp, there were the deities and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. They resided in the center of the camp. Close to them were sannyasis, and there were separate camps for ladies and men. They didn't stay together. There were also volunteers who worked as guards, staying up all night for security purpose, like that. So uh, many people would come to see this arrangements, because first time such a big yatra was happening. So, and morning they would chant Hare Krishna together, like that, and they travel to all holy places. So, as I was saying, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur opposed these caste Goswamis from quoting Srila Sanatan Goswami's Hari Bhakti Vilas, Bhagavatam, etc. But the local pundits, they seem to be satisfied with discussion. But when the Parikrama party arrived at the temples, the party found the doors closed, shopkeepers closed their doors, some even threw stones. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur didn't mind, and on October 28th, they arrived at Koshi. And Abhay also arrived in train, arrived in Mathura by train, and from Allahabad. Then he reached Koshi by rickshaw. And those days, Vrindavan was not like what it was now. Instead of factories, there were mostly forests. And Abhay felt all the ecstasies that an ordinary person, I mean, a Vaishnava would feel. That when he saw the peacocks, he saw the beautiful flowers, chirping of birds, all this sparrows, parrots, all of them. So his mind could feel a relief in the simple countryside, where people used cow manure fuel, like that. So that way. Then Abhay was dressed like a businessman, more formally, although others had uh, come in a Vaishnava attire, right? Uh, and then on reaching the camp, Abhay reached and did the registration, and he was allowed to join the Parikrama village, and he was assigned to a tent of a Grihastha men and offered prasadam. They talked about activities with the Mutt members. Abhay was asking about the activities uh, with the Mutt members of Allahabad and Calcutta. Then there was a gathering, a sannyasi was making an announcement, and he said, today is the last day when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur will be giving his lecture. Tomorrow he is going to Mathura, and today we can also visit the deity of Sheshashai Vishnu nearby. So, those who want to take darshan of Sheshashai Vishnu can go, others can attend the lecture of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, like that. And how fortunate Prabhupada was. That was the last time in the parikrama that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would be speaking. So choice was given. Obviously, most of them went for the darshan of the Sheshashai Vishnu. Hmm. And Keshav Maharaj was informing that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is going to Mathura tomorrow morning. So at that time, I think only 10 or 12 men remained. Sridhar Maharaj was one of them, and I thought it wise. What can I see at this Sheshashai? Let me hear Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur will speak. Let me hear like that. And as Abhay arrived, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was already speaking with his back erect, a shawl around his shoulders, hmm, and he was addressing a small gathering in the room. At last, Abhay was again present, and he heard uninterruptedly about Krishna. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would talk about Sambandha, Abhidaya, Prayojan, etc. And he would say how Krishna is the only super lord of the entire universe. And no one can raise any obstacle against his enjoyment. Our enjoyments can be obstructed, by Krishna's enjoyment cannot be obstructed, like that. For 2 hours he went on speaking, and then there was a many sannyasis started saying we have other parikrama responsibilities and left. And in the end, only few of them were there, and Prabhupada was also there. Uh, and mm, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur noticed this. And how do we know? He noticed that Prabhupada learned, heard attentively during the initiation, when one of the brahmacharis, Atulananda brahmachari, would recommend Mr. Day, Abhay Day, we can take, please accept him. He is a very qualified candidate. That time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says in Allahabad, I have noted that he likes to hear. And Prabhupada feels so nice that this is the best way to please the spiritual master, by hearing attentively and submissively hearing and trying to follow, like that. So Prabhupada uh, treasured the original impression of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati in Calcutta, but tonight that single impression that he sustained for years became enriched. He felt as if the spiritual master was opening the door. See here. Hmm. Uh, Prabhupada was impressed by the sound logic, uh, uh, with faith what he spoke, like that. So he wanted to go on listening without cessation, like that. So that when next morning, of course, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur leaves, and he bade farewell, and Abhay was also standing amongst all others bidding farewell to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And just a month later, Hmm? There was a meeting of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur at Allahabad. That's when the initiation happens. Because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would be coming to preside over the ceremony of cornerstone laying. And when Abhay learned there would also be initiation ceremony, he asked Atulananda Brahmachari, the Mata's president, can I also get initiated? Abhay also discussed his initiation plan with his wife. Wife agreed, but she said, I am not for uh, initiation. She was more home centered, and she believed in God, but she didn't want to get too deep into all this initiation, service, etc. So later, when he learned from his um uh, how Prabhupada knew that initiation is very, very important if one wants Krishna Prem. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, only after getting initiated from Ishwarapuri, fully manifested his symptoms of ecstatic love for Krishna, like that. Abhay had already had a family guru at the age of 12, but he didn't consider that as initiation because there was no instructions given. It was just a ritual. And neither was that guru, family guru, connected to the proper parampara. So now, while he was getting connected to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he became very convinced that I'm guided by the right person in parampara who will help me go back home, back to Godhead. Hmm. Abhay had already accepted Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It was only that a formality, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur accepting him as his disciple, like that. So uh, it was by higher arrangement that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was coming. As his relationship with Guru was deepening, Krishna made all arrangements for the Guru to initiate his disciple, like that. Hmm. So Atulan and Brahmachari uh, took opportunity to present several devotees, and when they spoke about Mr. Day, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said yes. And he said, exchanging looks with Abhay, he likes to hear. He does not go away. I have marked him. I will accept him as my disciple. Like that. So, one lesson we can learn is when the Guru is speaking, the Guru is pleased if we simply submissively, humbly sit and hear the instructions, because by hearing those instructions, eventually the heart will get transformed. See, moment Abhay got to know this, he was in ecstasy. And Atulanand also was surprised that, oh, already my Gurudev knows about Mr. Day. Other disciples were also pleased. Immediate acceptance of Mr. Day as a good listener. Some wondered, how did Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati arrive at such an estimation of this young pharmacist, like that? Then next day, on the Vyasasan, when he was seated, uh, those initiated sat around Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The fire sacrifice was made. Abhai's sister and brother were present, but his wife was not present there. Hmm. Abhay again remarked, oh, recollected Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's words, and he thought, only if I hear well, tomorrow I will be able to speak well. Shravanam first, then only Kirtanam. By sitting and patiently hearing at Koshi, uh, Krishna was pleased. Why? Because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was pleased. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati didn't praise him for donating money to the Mata. He had not advised him to forsake his family and business, neither perform great austerities. Hmm. He just said he likes to hear, I have marked him. So finally, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati came and handed over the Harinam initiation beads, and he gave him the name. Along with Abhay, he added the word Charanaravinda, Abhay Charanaravinda. And that was the spiritual name that he got. And usually, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would give Harinam initiation and not Brahman initiation. After some time, if the devotee showed sincerity, then he would give the second initiation when he was satisfied with the progress. But here he offered both at the same time. Uh, because now he was a full-fledged disciple, a Brahmana who could perform yajna for initiation, who could worship deities, and preach widely like that. So he added the word Aravinda, Abhay Charana Aravinda. His name was Abhay Charan previously, just added Aravinda, Abhay Charana Aravinda, like that. Then after that, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur left for Calcutta, and then Prabhupada was instructed to read the Nectar of Devotion, which is the law book, and by carefully reading it, uh, he would advance in spirituality, was what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told him. Prabhupada wanted to worship and preach, but his wife was not interested in that. She said, we'll worship deities and live peacefully, forget about preaching, like that. So, in the next 4 years, 1936 is when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur left the world. Prabhupada managed to meet his spiritual master a dozen times, like that. Whenever Prabhupada would visit Calcutta, he would stay for 4 to 5 days uh, in the Gaudiya Mutt. Nityananda Brahmachari would meet him at Howrah station, and they would come on a cart, and Abhay would stay in the Gaudiya Mutt for 5 days. Sometimes he would go to one of his sister's place in Calcutta. But the main reason of coming for Calcutta was to take advantage of the opportunity to hear. Like that. So Abhay didn't try to become a leader of inner management. He was busy with his family and business, but for brief time he would stay in the mutt, and yet he began to develop close relationship with spiritual master. So sometimes even senior Vaishnavas would feel afraid to go and talk to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, but Prabhupada would talk very casually. Some of the seniors remark, fools go to a place where other intelligent people dare to go. Then Prabhupada thought, okay, anyway, I'm a fool, but I would like to be close to my spiritual master. Sometimes Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati would be chanting on beats, and Prabhupada would also walk along with him and chant. Once it so happened, all his disciples were sitting with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was sitting on an elevated seat. Prabhupada sat next to him on the same seat. All others were sitting down. Then Prabhupada understood, oh, I made a mistake. From that time on, Prabhupada never sat on the same seat as his spiritual master. And one other time in the in Mayapur, mm, Prabhupada met Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur at Chaitanya Mutt, and then in the courtyard, there was a large poisonous snake. And when he called out for other god brothers, Abai, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, all looked at the snake, but they were confused what to do. So then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, kill it. And one of them killed it. Prabhupada was shocked. How can a saintly person tell kill a living entity, kill a snake? But later, when he read Prahlad Maharaj's prayers, where it says, Modeta sadhurapi vrikshika sarpahatya. Even saintly persons take pleasure in killing the snake or scorpion. Why? They don't take pleasure. They feel satisfied because this unnecessarily causes harm to others. So when he read that verse, his mind was satisfied. Uh, for many days, he had his own doubts about why my guru did this, but then he was satisfied like that. Mm. See here, although Bhaktisiddhanta was austere and strong, he was very kind to Abhay. He would treat him affectionately. Some god brothers would criticize, fools rush in where angels fear to tread, like that. So, once in a room with many disciples, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was speaking and Abhay was listening. And next to him, there was an old man who was asking Abhay to translate or tell it because he was unable to hear Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur speaking. And when Abhay was hearing to him and trying to uh, respond to him, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati got upset. And he first called that old person and said, Babu, he addressed the old man and he said, do you think you have purchased me with your 150 rupees per month donation? He asked. And then he turned towards Abhay and he said, then why don't you come and speak here instead of me? Hmm. Abhay was actually terrified, but he treasured the uh, uh, rebuke. And then in a private meeting, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur once told Abhay of the risks that he took by preaching so boldly. He was saying how some people had given 25,000 rupees bribe to one police because they wanted to kill him, and said, don't take any action. But the police understood he's a genuine saint. Uh, he said, we accept bribes, but not for a sadhu. I cannot dare. So police refused and told Guru Maharaj, take care. Like that. So Prabhupada felt happy that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was sharing his uh, heart to Prabhupada. So this is one thing that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati liked. Boldness in disciples, uncompromising behavior. And we see how Prabhupada also has carefully carried the same thing. How Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur one of the disciples once uh, kind of criticized Mayavadi, it seems. So then, in the program, there was some unhealthy feelings. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur all thought will be upset, but actually he was very happy. He said, Never compromise." Mm, he said he has done well. Although he has created a disturbance in the program, but he has spoken the truth. Like that. So. mm, he was a living encyclopedia. He was Simha Guru, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Once he called a Mayavadi and said, Why are you cheating people with Mayavadi philosophy? Uh, don't speak the truth. Money will come on its own, like that. So, and other teachings, whatever we see, right? Don't try to see God, but act in such a way that God tries to see you. Like that. And then one other Bengali phrase Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would use. Some people would make temples just to earn donations, right? They would show the deity and ask, put some donation, like that. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say, the priests are taking the Shaligram deity as a stone for cracking the nuts. They're using Shaligram to get donations, like that. Mm. Once Subhash Chandra Bose was upset with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and he came and said, Why are you taking such young people into your mission? They should serve the country now. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur very intelligently said, You see, my disciples, they are all very skinny. They are not strong to go and fight for the country. They'll peacefully eat little and chant Hare Krishna. You should recruit stronger people. In that way, he intelligently avoided Subhash Chandra Bose. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say Jesus Christ was a Shaktiavesh avatar. And he was the one who first coined this wonderful statement. Uh, if we try to understand the Supreme Lord by mental speculation or by senses, it's like a person trying to lick the honey bottle from outside. So he can't get any honey, like that. And he also said philosophy without religion is dry speculation. Religion without philosophy is sentimental or fanaticism, like that. And he quoted this wonderful story how the world is simply society of cheaters and cheated, like that. And he quoted the story how sometimes a lady who doesn't have good character, she thinks I'll go to a holy place and somehow I'll attract some sadhu and get married and produce a very good child from the sadhu. Union of the sadhu and me will produce a good child, like that. So she thinks like that. She's trying to cheat the sadhu. And there are many other lusty fellows who go to holy places thinking maybe some girl will think I'm a sadhu and ask me to marry her so I can enjoy, like that. So this girl goes, uh, she doesn't have character. She goes, approaches a sadhu, but that sadhu also is a Falgu sadhu. He is also looking for lust to be satisfied. So both of them come together and they produce child, and the child has the bad characters of both. So both cheat each other, like that. So this is how this world is, like that, he would say. And how anytime his disciples would ask Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur about some future program, he would not say, okay, on 29th I will be there. He would always say, Krishna willing, I will be there. Although he himself was an astrologer, he could predict the future, but he always understood Krishna is the final deciding authority, like that. And Prabhupada also learnt how Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was so strict about avoiding association with women. One night, um, once Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciple and his young wife both were speaking, and the wife told, I want to speak something privately. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, No, I cannot see you in private. You should be with your husband. And Abhay was impressed. Although this girl was the age of his granddaughter, he would not speak to a woman alone, like that. So, this way, uh, things happened. Then eventually, uh, Prabhupada went on listening to spiritual master at every opportunity, but rarely did he put a philosophical question. He just preferred to listen. He would only ask one question: how shall I serve you? Like that. So now, uh, Prabhupada was thinking, first of all, I'll become a rich man. Then I shall do. Now my god brothers have taken sannyas. They are begging from door to door. Why shall I beg? Let me earn and start Krishna consciousness. Like that, Prabhupada was thinking. Uh, And many offers came from top pharmaceutical companies where he was an agent. He could be an agent, but somehow things didn't materialize. One uh, pharmaceutical company, Bengal Chemicals, laid an offer, but it didn't act. Prabhupada's conditions were not met, so he turned down that offer. And he thought that, as predicted, one astrologer had predicted, he'll be one of India's richest man. And Dr. Karthik Bose also told his father-in-law, he's a very intelligent man. But what happened at Allahabad? He had so many distributions done of medicines, and people were not paying the bills on time. So the debt went on increasing. And when the Bose laboratory understood that a 10,000 rupees debt was there, then Bose was concerned. Hmm. And some of the people uh, working in Allahabad also started saying that Abhay is independent, mm, and he's trying to switch jobs. He's trying to go to Bengal Chemicals, like that. But Bose had faith in Abhay, but he understood that Abhay was unable to uh, uh, get the money from all these people. So Bose said, I can't go on giving him money. And then they both agreed that the best way to settle was Dr. Bose take over the Prayag pharmacy and all of accounts of Abhay. So all of Abhay's accounts, uh, whatever pending was there, everything Bose would take care of it, but he was left jobless. So that time, Atulanand Brahmachari from Allahabad, he said, why don't you join the mutt now? You don't have a job. We can do full-time preaching. But then Abhay thought, he didn't take that instruction seriously, because he thought, how can I abandon business, my wife, children, and now I have a third child also. So, although the brahmacharis had good intentions, currently I am not in that situation. That's what Abhay was feeling, right? So then eventually he decided that he will start his own pharmaceutical laboratory in a bigger city, Bombay. And there in Bombay, Prabhupada set up his own company. Uh, he he tried to set up his own company along with working as an agent for another laboratory, Smith Institute, right there. And parallelly, he started also helping Sridhar Maharaj and Bhakti Saranga Goswami Maharaj in establishing the Gaudiya Mutt there. And then in this chapter, we will also see one of the other things, the famous Prabhupada's Vyas Puja offering. So the poem, I request all devotees to read this carefully. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was most impressed by this couplet. Because absolute is sentient, thou hast proved, impersonal calamity, thou hast moved. This gives a new life. This gives us a life, a new and fresh. Worship thy feet, your divine grace. So, seeing this, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was impressed. How has he understood the crux of what my teaching is against impersonalism? And even the uh, writing of Abhay was so authentic and spiritually so logically conclusive that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told the editor of Harmonist, whatever Abhay writes, print it. So we will see how in this chapter eventually Abhay also meets once again Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur at Radha Kund during 1935, and finally when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is sick at Jagannath Puri, Prabhupada writes that letter, how can I serve you? And 2 weeks later, Abhay received that reply, which we saw in the beginning, right? This one, right? So the same instruction he had received. So then he understood that uh, this is the most important instruction. And in Radha Kund, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave him another instruction. This Calcutta Bagh Bazaar temple, all are having such a big temple, but they're fighting for facilities. Better I sell that marble and get money to print books. Abhay, if at all you have money, use it for printing books, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said. So these two things, Prabhupada took it as his life and soul, and tried to uh, please the spiritual master. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati passed from the world on Jan 1st, 1937. Prabhupada felt like an orphan without his father and spiritual father. But however, these last instructions was a great treasure for him, and he felt fortunate how uh, his guru had responded just before leaving the planet, and he uh, uh, was planning on how to make fulfill these instructions. So this I will stop. Please forgive me if I could not communicate very eloquently. Thank you for the opportunity. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Haridev Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much. So nicely summarized full chapter, especially highlighting very, very important points. Thank you so much. The devotees can unmute, share your comments, if any, or questions, if any want to ask Haridev Krishna Prabhu. Hope others able to unmute, right? Can somebody try?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, we can unmute Prabhu.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna,
Pranams.
Hare
Thanks
Krishna.
for the wonderful class, Prabhu.
Thank
Thank you very much. I understood the importance of hearing, Prabhu. So our Guru also followed that, as it is given in so many books, beginning from Bhagavad Gita, Ishopanishad, how hearing wonderfully works and makes you comes out of mode of passion and ignorance to goodness. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anyone
Hare
else?
Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranams.
Dandavat pranam.
Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, Sridhar Maharaj is also connected to Gaudiya Math, Prabhu.
Means this is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciple, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj. There is another Sridhar Maharaj of our ISKCON who left the planet in 2005, I think. That is different. Sridhar Maharaj.
No, I heard about Sridhar Maharaj. He was selling the banana leaves and bananas, no?
Oh, that is
It is
Kolavecha
different.
Sridhar. That is
Oh,
Kolavecha
different.
Sridhar of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time.
Oh,
Kolavecha Sridhar was there during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time.
okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, thank you, Prabhuji, for walking us through. I know we're running out of time. Do you have time, Prabhu?
Not an issue, Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay. Prabhu, I think in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Prabhupada quite often quotes about reference from Sridhar Maharaj's interpretation of Bhagavatam sloka. That Sridhar Maharaj is Gaudiya Vaishnava, or which Sampradaya is belonging to, Prabhu?
Oh, that is Sridhara Swami.
Sridhar
Sridhara
Swami, yeah,
Swami.
Sridhar Swami.
He,
Yes,
he was the original comment. commentary of Bhagavatam was written, he was way back, even before Mahaprabhu's time, etc. All had accepted him as an authorized commentary. And once Vallabhacharya tried to come up with a commentary of Sri Bhagavatam,
Yeah.
which was kind of belittling Sridhar Swami's commentary. So Mahaprabhu was not very impressed. Mahaprabhu said, anybody who um, rejects Swami is a prostitute, like that. So Swami means husband. Anybody who rejects husband is a prostitute, like that. So Mahaprabhu did not agree for that, actually.
Sridhar Swami is from Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, or I mean,
No, he was even before the Mahaprabhu's
okay.
time. So that time he was a Vaishnava, uh, but we call Gaudiya Vaishnava only after yes, Ishwara Puri, Madhvendra Puri, all of them Mahaprabhu, that way. So
Sridhar Swami's pastime is that, no? What is that?
Hare Krishna.
He wanted to renounce everything. There was
yes,
he gets a child. Then what is that small baby?
and he feels he was thinking, after the delivery of my child, I mean of the child, I will take sannyas.
Correct.
But then moment the delivery happens, the mother dies, actually. So he was thinking, alas, I wanted to take sannyas, but now destiny has different plans for me. Looks like, how can I take sannyas when this child is left all alone with nobody to take care? That time he sees that there was one lizard which was just born at that time. And the moment the lizard was born, immediately the lizard understood how to catch the prey. So then Sridhara Swami understood that, oh, it's not that the mother had trained the child how to eat, but the child was given this knowledge by Paramatma himself. So then Lord will take care of even this child also. Like that he understood, and he left the child in the temple and he took sannyas. And very soon, surely, one couple who did not have parents, I mean, who did not have child, they came to temple praying for a child. They saw this child was there, and they picked up this child and they started taking care of the child, like that. So that is the pastime related to.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranams. Thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu. What impressed in my mind after listening to this class, that Abhaya Charanaravinda, as his name states, fearless. He is so fearless. So that quality in him, important Vaishnava quality, we should also imbibe. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams.
Hare Krishna. Shall we end, Prabhuji?
Okay. Anyone else? Any comments, questions? No? Okay. If nothing is there, we can end. Thank you so much, Haridev Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for so much for your valuable time and enlightening us. So we'll end with Vaishnav Pranam.
Yes, Prabhu.
Vancha kalpatarabhyasa Putana Pavanjyo Vishnu Antakoti Vishnu Vrinda Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Guru Vrinda Ki Jai Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. We'll end the meeting now. We'll see you tomorrow, same time. Hare Krishna.